To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Roll call, please.
Mr. Gilbert? Mr. Teetsort?
Here.
Mr. Detzel?
Here.
Mr. Heather?
Here.
Mrs. Toff? Here.
So everyone's here except for Mr. Gilbert. At the beginning of the meeting, each meeting, we like to read our mission statement. The Northwest Local School District will create a responsive learning community where all students are valued, challenged, and guided along a pathway to success.
So Mr. Teetsort, tonight we'll start with some athletic accomplishments. So I'm going to ask Mr. Garing, our Director of Student Services, to come up, introduce our guests and the accomplishments that they bring with them.
Well, good evening, everyone. We're excited to bring this back to the Board of Education. We had to take a little bit of break from this large crowd gathering, and we're excited to have this back, and then a plan to have it seasonally throughout next year. So we're really excited to bring forth a number of really accomplished students of ours, and we'll go through our secondary buildings, and we're able to present names as well as those who could be here. First off, I want to make sure I don't miss him. I know him. I didn't see him. Is Tristan with us? Where's Tristan? Okay, somebody say yes? No, okay. So we at least want to make sure we acknowledge the name because of an incredible accomplishment from White Oak Middle School. We want to just take a moment to say the name of Tristan Cornice. That's a name you're going to hear quite a bit in the years to come. He was a GMC champion and also a state qualifier in the area of track. He's a hurdler, and he's an incredible hurdler as well. So we want to make sure that we acknowledge him, even though he couldn't join us this evening. To kind of kick things off, I'm going to turn things over, and the way that we're going to process this is I'll have the administrative rep come forward, introduce each of the coaches along the way. When your school is being represented, if the athletes wouldn't mind kind of shifting themselves over there, that would have kind of a quick transition to the front. Once you get your certificate, do me a favor and line up that way. Once we're done with your school, we'll send you around for congratulations as kind of keep things moving. So once we get to your school, we'll have all the athletes shift that way. The admin will introduce the coaches, the athletes, and one by one get your certificate. When we're all finished with that school, we'll send them around. Does that make sense to everybody? Very good. We want to introduce from Corey Middle School, Mr. David Meadows.
Good evening. I have with me Mr. Mark Knott, one of our coaches. So this evening, the administrative team would like to recognize 5 individuals for their contribution, not only for their academics, but also for their commitment to CMS athletics. We are fortunate to have so many individuals worthy of these awards, but there's something very unique about each one of the individuals. First, we have Hayley Johnson. So Hayley is a fantastic young lady that embodies many qualities that we love to see in a Cardinal. When we asked the track team who wanted to do the high jump, her hand was one of the first ones to go up. When Coach Knott asked her if she ever had done it, she said, nope, but I'll do it. And she did, and she did it well. Her and another young lady on the team worked daily during practices and participated each meet, and with each practice and meet, Hayley got better. Hayley's hard work and dedication paid off, and she won the girls' high jump championship at the GMCs this season. She did a fantastic job this season and represented CMS and all of the Northwest Local School District exactly the way we would hope all of our student athletes would do. Congratulations, Hayley, and thank you for representing our team, coaches, school, and district in an exemplary way. Next, we have the Athlete of the Year Award. That award is cumulative over the past 2 years. This award is not only given to those that excel in athletics, but also in the classroom. First, we have the student male athlete, R.J. O'Brien. The student athlete of the Year Award goes out to a young man that has excelled in both of his academics and athletics. He generates high standards for himself and others around him in which he strives to always improve. He has done very well in football, basketball, and track in both his 7th and 8th grade years. RJ is a leader on and off the field. He challenges his peers to be the best that they can be on a daily basis. He has a good balance between academics and athletics. Congratulations to RJ O'Brien for being the recipient of the Student Athlete of the Year Award. Next, we have the Student Athlete of the Year, Elise Manus. I don't believe that she's here, but this young lady embodies what it means to be a Colerain Cardinal. Her love for this school is infectious, and her passion to be the best, both inside and outside of the classroom, is inspiring. Her talent speaks for itself, but it is her dedication that truly makes her shine. Her energy, her warmth, her commitment to both her sport and her team exemplifies the term student athlete. She inspires others with her dedication, she motivates others with her infectious spirit, and she encourages others with her passion to be a positive influence. Elise participated in cross country, basketball, and track for the past 2 years while maintaining a perfect GPA. Her contributions to the athletic program at CMS are immeasurable, and she is most deserving of the award, Athlete of the Year. Congratulations to Elise Manus. Then we have the Archie Griffin. This award is presented, Archie was a Heisman Trophy winner, winning football player for the Ohio State University. Griffin demonstrated outstanding sportsmanship, integrity, and ethics. This award is given to one middle school male and one middle school female athlete from each school in the Ohio High School Athletic Association. It is the highest honor an athlete can achieve from our school. So first off, we have Seth Bogan. I don't think he's here, but his parents are here. This student athlete has shown a tremendous amount of sportsmanship in all the activities he participated in over the last 2 years at Colerain Middle School. He shows this with high level of integrity, both on and off the field and court. He challenges himself and his peers daily by putting his best foot forward in all athletic events, practices, and academic classes. Seth Bogan is a true leader that shines by example. He sets high standards for himself as well as others by being accountable, caring, and kind. Congratulations to Seth Bogan for all of your accomplishments and being the recipient of the Archie Griffin Award. And then I have one more for the Archie Griffin. I have Grace Phillips. The female athlete that this award is being presented to this evening is truly one of a kind. She is the epitome of what it means to be generous, caring, and an all-around terrific person. She is the type of person that will go out of her way to talk to everyone and knows no stranger. She is the person that genuinely cares about others, encourages others, and is truly excited and happy to see her teammates succeed. She is their biggest cheerleader. If you do not know Grace Phillips, then you are definitely missing out. Grace is the type of individual that brightens any room she enters because of her energy, personality, and smile are absolutely contagious. To know Grace is to love her. Congratulations, Grace Phillips, on being the Archie Griffin recipient this evening.
Take your kind of cruise around and congratulations to my board members. Go ahead, that way. You are here from Colerain High School. You're a student athlete from Colerain High School.
Good.
Congratulations. Over to this side of the room.
Congratulations. Good to see you again.
Colerain High School athletes. Go ahead, you can shift a little bit forward as well. Looks like we're going to take up quite a bit of space up here, so go ahead and shift up. Yep, come on up, come on up. Perfect. Well, I have a very distinct pleasure of not just introducing the person who's going to take us through this presentation, but also to present him with an award for himself as well. As everyone in this room probably knows, I have quite an affection for wrestling. It's a big part of my life, and to see some accomplishments in that area is always exciting to me. Carl Huber took over the program a number of years ago, has done an incredible job with our high school wrestling program. Northwest grad, came over to Colerain and has done an incredible job. This past year, Coach Huber was able to lead the Colerain High School wrestling varsity team to their first ever GMC Wrestling Championship, and that's pretty incredible right there. Absolutely. On top of that, Coach Huber was able to earn the GMC Coach of the Year award, so I think that deserves another round of applause as well. Congratulations to you, Coach. I'm sure he enjoys every moment of this. Actually, he doesn't. He hates all of it. He'd love to skip it, but I'm not going to let him because he has actually two more things to acknowledge. One is he was named the Southwest Ohio Wrestling Coaches Association Coach of the Year, and that's an incredible accomplishment. Congratulations to you, Coach. And last but not least, but most important, more than anything else I say, is very exciting that Mr. Huber was also able to get married recently. He actually got someone to say yes, and that's an incredible feat as well. Congratulations to you, Coach.
All right, so I'll talk about my wrestlers, and then Mr. Stoynoff unfortunately isn't able to be here tonight, so I'll go ahead and I'll talk and introduce all the other following sports coaches, and then soccer and basketball as well. So Bryce Sears, who I don't think is here today, was a sophomore for us. He was first team GMC, won the GMC tournament for us. He took third at the sectional tournament, fourth at the district tournament, which qualified him for the state tournament as a sophomore. So very high achievement for him. Did an outstanding job, like Mr. Gary said. He was one of the leaders of that team to help make us first-time league champs. Right. Next one, who's not able to make it tonight, was our leader of our team for the past 4 years. It was Tim Smith. He was a 4-year varsity starter. He was a 3-time state qualifier, 3-time league champ, 2-time state placer. This year he took 4th at the state tournament, making it all the way to the state semifinals match before losing to the state champion of the year, which is an outstanding achievement, 1 match away from being in the state finals. Up there is probably second time most wins for a wrestler in Colerain history. He's a 4-time sectional champ, 4-time district placer. The kid's done it all in wrestling. He's moving on to go wrestle next year at Wabash, where he earned a scholarship in that. So round of applause for Tim Smith. Next, I will introduce Coach Yeary. Coach Yeary here was the boys bowling coach. Coach Yeary was the GMC Coach of the Year, and he also led the boys to a GMC championship. So, Coach Yeary.
And with that, thank you all for having us tonight. Also, congratulations to all you athletes and families that are here. With that, I get the opportunity to introduce to you one of my bowlers, Ryan Johnson. Ryan Johnson was the 2022 GMC Bowler of the Year. This year, Ryan had a 227 league average and a 212 overall average. Ryan led the team to a 15-2 overall match record, which is the school record for match wins in a single season for the boys. In league play, the boys finished 8-1, which again was good enough for the GMC Championship, a co-share of the GMC Championship with Mason, the first time since 2016. The boys were sectional runners-up and ultimately struggled. We struggled in districts where the season ended, but Ryan had a tremendous 4-year career at Colerain. He was a 4-year letter winner, 3-time first-team All-GMC honoree, including this year's GMC Player of the Year, and Ryan will go down as one of the most decorated Colerain bowlers in school history. Ryan Johnson.
All right, next up for boys soccer, we have Alex McAfee. So, I didn't know if we're clapping before or after. All right, so Alex was GMC Player of the Year. He had 12 goals, 7 assists during his senior year. He was first team All-District, second team All-State. The team beat Sycamore, Middletown, Mason, Oak Hills, and Hamilton. Colerain played Middletown in the first round of the playoffs, won 4-0. In the second round, they lost to a questionable call, 1-0 to Anderson. Alex was an outstanding leader for the team. Did a great job. Really proud of Alex. Round of applause for Alex. All right, up next, we have girls basketball. We have Abby McNally. I got a whole lot here to read, so bear with me. So, Abby was a 4-year scholar athlete, multi-sport athlete, 7 varsity letters, 4 basketball, 3 volleyball, 2-time recipient of the La Rosa's Athlete of the Year Award, first-time all-conference basketball in 20, 21, and 22, 2 times in volleyball, 20 and 21, second-team all-conference in basketball in 19, 1 time in volleyball in 19, preseason shootout player of the year, player of the game award, school record for rebounds in basketball, school record for points in basketball, Cardinal Award junior and senior year, 2021 GMC Offensive MVP for volleyball, 21-22 GMC Defensive Player of the Year for basketball, school record for kills in volleyball, basketball captain junior and senior year, volleyball captain sophomore, junior, and senior year, Honor Hustle Hunger Award for basketball, Pride Hustle Desire Award for basketball, Monumental Award for volleyball, 21-22 First Team All District Division I basketball. Abby McNally. And then Kylie McNally. So, multi-sport award for receiving 7 varsity letters after starting 4 years on basketball, 3 years on volleyball. Scholar athlete for 4 years. 2022 career basketball steals at 274. 2021-22 most valuable player for basketball. 21-22 most improved player for basketball. 2022 coaches award for basketball. 2021 first team GMC for volleyball. 2021 GMC second team for basketball. 2021 CHS record for volleyball kills at 271, and 2020 second team all GMC for volleyball. Kylie McNally. And then for track, I'm going to introduce Coach Struby and Coach Allen.
My name is Maggie Strobe, and I am the girls' head track coach. So I'm going to talk about the girls, and then Coach Allen's going to talk about the boys. We're kind of co-head coaches, though, to be honest, but that just seemed like the easiest way to divide the labor. So we have 5 girls here tonight, and they're all here, that qualified for state in the 4x100 and the 4x200 meter relays. It was unexpected that we qualified in both of them. Last year we went in the 4x1, so it was really exciting to kind of add on to our success this year. And we also had a regional qualifier in the 100 meter dash and 200 meter dash. That was Summer Swartwout. And she also tied, I guess next year we're gonna set, right, Summer? A school record in the 100 meter dash. That is a 36-year-old record. Of a 12.05 seconds. If you know anything about track, which a lot of people don't, that's really fast, especially for a sophomore in high school. So our relays were made up of Kaylani Broadnax, Summer Swartwout, Anasia Polnitz, Wesley Oliver, and India Washington. They set the school record in the 4x200 meter relay. I believe that was at state prelims with a time of 1:42.88. That was also I think that was about like a 20-year-old record, so that one had been around for a while. And they qualified for finals in both the 4x1 and the 4x2. They came in 6th place in the 4x100 meter dash, the same place as last year. So next year we're going to go back and we're going to improve on 6th place. Just a little bit about who they are as a group of individuals outside of athletes. We have one senior, Wesley, who we're going to miss a lot. She's a great athlete. But she's a great example and leader to the rest of our team, so we will definitely miss her. She works really hard. She was on both those relays with well, I don't even know what your injury was, but she literally 2 weeks after the state meet, she had to have shoulder surgery to repair like your rotator cuff or something like that. So she's a tough cookie, and we will definitely miss her. We have 3 of them that will be returning. 2 of them are sophomores. 4 will be returning. 2 are sophomores, 2 are juniors. So we're definitely ready to keep going with this success that we've had. And we're just looking to keep building on our success. We've had a lot of success the last couple of years, so we want to keep it up.
My name is J.R. Allen. I'm an alumni of Colerain. I graduated in 1988. I'm the boys' head track coach. If you guys know anything about what happened to us in state, it was one of the most depressing and saddest things that ever happened. Our fastest guy, our 10th guy, Roosevelt, in mid-run, blew out his hip. And we were unable to move forward. Unfortunately, we had won our region, we had won the district, we were the fastest thing smoking. And I guess Colerain, that Colerain luck or whatever you call that, the Colerain whatever, got up there, didn't expect it to go down that way. We were probably gonna, I believe to this day that we would have won both the 4x1 and the 4x2. And I have reason to believe that. I'll start with this. The 4x1, without our guy that run the 10.6, they ran the second fastest time at Colerain ever. They ran a 42.55. On top of that, at the GMCs with Roosevelt intact, we ran a GMC time of 41.94. That is a record for the GMC. No one had ever run that fast before. So I had reason to believe that we were pretty good. And unfortunately, injuries do happen. That is a part of life. They'll learn more from that situation than they would have learned from winning. So I'm actually very proud of how they took it. They actually handled it better than me. They were men. They went out there. They grabbed themselves together. These guys are all seniors. AJ Foster, come on forward. AJ Foster. There you go. Isaiah King. And Roosevelt Ziegler. Like I was saying, stay here for a minute. So they have lots of records. Roosevelt broke a third-year record as well. He ran a 10.64. That's the fastest time ever ran at Colerain, and so he's a new record holder. But his coach, not being too bright, if I would have shut him down, the whole one track meet, just let him run 200, he would have broke that record. His 200 time was 21.75. The record was 21.72. So of course, that's on the coach, not the right coach. So we have guys, and all 3 of these guys, it's a very awesome story. I actually am an alumni of Ashland University. I received a degree there for playing football as All-American there, and each one of my seniors are all going to Ashland on full ride scholarships. Roosevelt for track, AJ for football, Isaiah for track. So that's more than their running, more of their accomplishments. I'm more proud of that. My job is to get young men to college, not to win state championships. The state championships is gravy on the meal. But these guys go on to college, and they're good people too. And these guys were here before. Some of you might remember them. In 7th and 8th grade, they were the fastest things smoking about 4 or 5 years ago, and they just kept it going, all 3 of these guys. So I'm just proud of these guys. These are the fastest guys that's ever run at Colerain High School. Can you please give them a round of applause? And I'll leave on this. They have a record in the 4x1 of 41.94. They have the record in the 4x2 of 128.09. And Roosevelt has a record in the 100 of 10.64. Also, Jeremy Cheatham, Mark Conyers, and Jordan Robinson were also a part of these relay teams. I want to thank you all, and God bless everybody.
Well, congratulations to all of you. I'll send you on around to get your acknowledgments as well. If everyone can stay, we have one more school, then we're going to go outside for a picture. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank
Congratulations to you. That's awesome. Congratulations. Thank you.
Great job.
Old habits are hard to break. All right, we have everybody just have a seat for one more presentation. We'll take everybody outside for a picture. I'd like to welcome up Mark Zimmerly from Northwest High School. Let's give him a round of applause. And let's have all of our Northwest High School. If you are here from Northwest High School to be acknowledged, come on over and join me over here. Thank you, everybody.
Well, hello, everybody. It's my honor to get to talk about a few of our students, some of which could not be here tonight. The first one I'd like to talk about is Nick Moore. Nick Moore was achieved first team All-Ohio. If you don't know Nick Moore, he is going on to West Point. He will be playing for the Army Black Knights. And so he is actually at football camp now. And so he was unable to attend, but we are very proud of Nick and his accomplishments, both on the football field and as a student at Northwest. He was heavily involved in our financial services program and just really the type of student that we like to see at Northwest. Next, I'd like to recognize both Kamari Hardin and Makari Hardin. Both Kamari and Makari were state qualifiers in wrestling this year. This year, it was Kamari's second time qualifying for state in wrestling, so both of them graduated through our Knight Success Academy, and so we are very proud of their accomplishments in working hard and getting all of their requirements done and recognizing or representing us at the state level in wrestling. Next, we have TJ Johnson. TJ was recognized as SWAC Player of the Year as part of our bowling team. TJ is a junior, so he'll be coming back as a senior next year, so hopefully he'll be coming back and representing us well in the SWAC and hopefully being able to win the SWAC and hopefully go on the state, and so we're very excited for TJ. Next, I would like to recognize members of our track team. Mainly, I want to start first with Coach Brian Miller. Brian, if you want to step on up. Brian was voted the SWAC Coach of the Year, so we are very proud to have Brian as one of our coaches and a teacher in our building. He truly works with our kids every day and keeps them motivated and does a lot of great things for us, including leading our Northwest High School track team to the SWAC championship this year. So we're very proud of the accomplishments of our track team and of Brian Miller, and so congratulations, Coach.
All right, good evening. First, I just want to thank you all for having us here tonight to talk about the Asia Malachi, the Northwest track team. I also want to take an opportunity to thank Coach Spence for being here. She works with our athletes as well. Prior to me being the head coach, she was the head coach, and most of what I've learned is from her. She works with our hurdlers both on the field during the season, outside the season. She also does a lot of things, working with them in the classroom, paying attention to what they're doing credit-wise, and making sure that they're academically eligible for sports as well as for moving on to college. Of course, it's going to do a blank on me now. It is with great honor that I stand before you today to talk about the Asia and Malachi's success. First, we're going to go ahead and talk about the Asia Cotton. The Asia was a freshman three-sport varsity athlete this past season in volleyball, basketball, and track and field. During track and field, she mainly competed in high jump and long jump this past year. During the SWAC championship, she was able to win the high jump as a freshman. She went on the districts and finished fourth in the districts, which qualified her for the regional championship, regional championship, and then she ended up being a regional placer at the regional championship this past year. We are looking forward to continuing to work with DeAsia. She's kind of a perfectionist and she wants to get everything right, and so she has a bright future in track and field ahead of her, and that's DeAsia Cotton. Next we have Malachi Snow. Malachi is a very hard-working, respectful young man. He's matured a lot since his sophomore year to his junior year. His freshman season was cut short, obviously, because of COVID. So his sophomore year was his first year that this young man's ever hurdled. And after his freshman or sophomore year, he was able to qualify in place at the regional track meet in both the 110 and the 300 hurdles. Going on to his junior year, he was able to win four events at the SWAC track meet, which led to him being the athlete of the year. He ended up winning. He ended up taking first place in the 110 hurdles and the 300 hurdles at the districts. He was second in the regionals in the 110 hurdles and the 300. And then during the state championship, he went on to win the 110 hurdles. During the season, we also won our first track meet since 2015 at the Monroe track meet. During that time, we were kind of getting down to the points, and Malachi wasn't feeling his best. And when I showed him the points and how close we were to winning the event, he was tough enough and strong enough to stand up and go out there and run that event for us, which we ended up taking first place home for the first time since 2015. During the SWAC meet, Malachi kind of fell into the same position in the 200. He got sick right before the 200. We weren't sure if he was going to be able to run it or not. By the time I got over there to talk to him, he was like, I'm good. The official was wondering if we were going to let him run or not. So he says he's good, the trainer says he's good, he's running. And so he went on, not only compete in that event, but went on to win the event as well. During the state track meet, as you know, Malachi took first place in the 110 hurdles. And that time that he posted was the fastest time in the state of Ohio, the 20th fastest time, the non-win aided time in the country. And he also broke a 6-year school record that was set by Malik Beverly back in 2016. I think the most memorable moment for Malachi this year was not just winning the state championship or watching him tough it out when he needed to, but hearing the other hurdlers talk about him after the meet was over, or after the race was over. And what it was is, you see, a lot of those guys were training since 11 or 12 years old to be hurdlers. Either they had a personal trainer, they've been working with their school, they ran AAU, or they ran indoor tracks. Malachi did none of those. This is Malachi's, he's like a first-year runner, fish out of water, so to speak. So he gets out there, and these guys are just impressed. They had never heard his name before, and they couldn't believe that he won, that he beat them. And so the best part about it is that they know who he is now, and so does the rest of the state of Ohio. So thank you. I appreciate your time.
As they're making their way around, and we want to have all of our families and our athletes make their way outside. Miss Crease is going to come outside and organize some pictures by school. That will get you posted up on the website, etc. It's also your exit strategy.
They did all of that. They didn't know you before, but they'll never forget you now. Impressive. Impressive. Congratulations.
So we're excited to bring this back seasonally next year, and so we'll be bringing this 3 times and have this kind of excitement to be able to carry forward. So we're excited to bring that back.
Thank you.
Okay, on to our next item on the agenda, our Student Achievement Liaison Report. Do you have anything to add above and beyond what you just heard? And then we're moving on to our legislative update.
At the state legislature is in summer break, so there's nothing there.
Thank you. And moving on to our Butler Tech update.
Yeah, nothing tonight, Matt.
Do we have any reports from any employee organizations?
None tonight.
Brings us to community communications and community comments. The Northwest Board of Education welcomes the opportunity to listen to Northwest Local School District residents' comments, suggestions, and concerns on educational issues. It is important to remember that the board conducts the meetings in public, but the meetings are not public forums. The intent of the meetings is to allow the board to complete needed business. Northwest Board of Education meetings are conducted using Robert's Rules of Order, newly revised. Most matters which fall under the jurisdiction of the board may be addressed during the community comments section in the order of business. The board will not discuss negotiations and personnel in open session. Any concerns and comments about individuals ought to be brought to the attention of the administration. A school district cannot discuss personal student information, whether or not discipline was imposed on a student, nor the reason for that decision, because disclosure would be in violation of state and federal law. The following guidelines will be used for public commentary at board meetings. Individuals wishing to address the board must complete and submit a request to speak form to the board president prior to the beginning of the meeting. Individuals will preface their comments by an announcement of their name, address, and group affiliation if applicable. Each person will be given 3 minutes to speak on agenda items of any topic during community comments. Public commentary is confined to that portion of the agenda. Individuals will be recognized to speak once on a given topic. All statements shall be directed to the presiding officer. No person may individually address or question board members, district administration, or members of the public in attendance. No response to the speaker will occur from board members, district administration, or members of the public in attendance during this time. Appropriate follow-up by district administration may occur at a later time if warranted. No more than 15 minutes will be devoted to public participation unless the board votes unanimously to continue discussion. Repetitive statements may be ruled out of order by the presiding officer. The presiding officer has the right to terminate the participation of any individual if the person violates the rules of good order. Laws of the state of Ohio determine the powers and duties of the Board of Education, the superintendent, and the CFO/treasurer. Received one request this evening from Mr. Rich McVeigh.
Hey, thank you, Board. It's good to be with you. It's been quite some time. You've been busy for the last couple of years, I know, working hard on getting us through the pandemic, uncharted waters, and did a really good job at that. And you got a lot of conflicting input on how to do it, so well done. I've spent the last month or so trying to get up to speed on what's going on in the district by looking at the website and reading minutes that you produced and looking at the agendas and that kind of stuff. So that helped me to get a better feel for where we stand. One of the things I was looking at as I got through that was where we stand with our work on a portrait of a graduate. I was involved in that early, and I was looking to see how that's beginning to be flowing into the district stuff, and that wasn't clear to me based on what I saw as I looked through what was publicly available. The other thing I was looking for was how are we doing academically? That was not as easy to find, so I did have to spend some time going to the state and looking at state data. And I mean, for the last 20 years, I've been in front of several boards talking about my interest in academics and the need to continue to improve in that area. So that's a subject which I'm interested in. So I do have some sense of where we were and where we are. 3 years ago, before we were in the pandemic, as a district, in our performance scores, we were generally in the bottom 25% of schools reporting in their overall scores. And through the pandemic, everybody kind of got poor results, except for Monfort Heights and all that. But most schools did drop. So what I did is look at what's the relative ranking. I was trying to see if, in fact, they all dropped. Where did we come out since we had a year off like everybody else did? And what that revealed was that we were in the bottom 22%, and as the last report, we're in the bottom 12%. So that's not been good progress. As I said, Monfort Heights was the one school that seemed like it was able to improve over the 3-year period. Coleraine Elementary School was kind of remained in the top 50. The 3 new elementary schools were really in the bottom 30%, with Taylor being in the bottom 22%. Getting into some specifics, I wanted to take a look at this. I focused on how are we doing with our English work. And 3rd grade English, we ended up in the bottom 15%. 6th grade, we were in the bottom 17%. And 12th grade, we were in the bottom 11%. Now, I had assumed that the new schools and the technology would yield better results. And I did work hard with many of the rest of you to get those schools put in place. And it was hard work. And I did expect to see better results. I know I'm out. I want to say 2 other things, if you'll give me a minute. I know I'm past my time.
We can wrap it up, please.
There are 2 things on the agenda tonight that I have some concerns about. One is the MOU to change our pattern of performance appraisals. I think they're important, especially when our results are declining, as the data would show. I don't want to take anything away from the fine presentation we had for all the good athletes tonight. I mean, that's fantastic work. But I think that in times like this, we should be spending more time coaching. You know, Joe Burrow's quarterback coach talks to him hourly. And this MOU has us moving out our discussions with teachers to some of them to 3-year schedules for the performance appraisals. It doesn't make sense to me. The other thing I can't support is the bond request for this $175 million for the following reasons, and I'll be quick. First of all, inflation's at an all-time high. This is not the good time to be doing this. People are struggling to see their ends met. Many folks are not working. They're still recovering from the COVID. It appears the district's going to come back another 2 or 3 years for their 5 mills, and the police department is knocking at the door with another levy. The other thing I have a problem with is that when you vote on things, what's written into the language is what you're voting on. And there's really no specific definition of what the $175 million is going to buy. Now, I know you guys had some discussion about this because I saw the progression of resolutions where you were talking about some things and those things have kind of disappeared. And that's a problem to me. No definition of the work that will be done in a specific sense. No statement of the timeline for the work. When is it going to be done? And I think policy requires you to have it done, 85% of it done within 5 years of your appropriation. That's a huge task. That means you have to manage $150 million worth of work in 5 years. And I don't think that's anything this district has ever done. It's one thing to build 3 schools that are just alike, it's another thing to manage $150 million. There's no commitment being made for academic results. That's a problem. Over $330 million is going to leave the district. It's loss of wealth. $150 million of that is going to go to investors who don't give one damn about Northwest Local School District students. I think that's not good. Relative to a new building, which I think is in there, but I'm not sure because you didn't say, is that I'm not sure you can expect to see improved results based on what's happened in the 3 elementary schools that we built. I think there's something far deeper going on than what the technology can fix. To that end, I would say I'd ask a couple of things for you beyond that. You need to rethink, I think, what you have people working on. I think you're asking teachers to do too many things. Maybe we should not do Portrait of a Graduate. Set it on the shelf. Say we'll come back to it when it's time. The reason I say that is important things like how well we're doing in English don't seem to be being met. 2 other things. Even though I haven't been here, I pray for you guys every morning. I ask God to give you discernment in your decision-making analysis. I'll continue to pray for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. That was the only community comments request that I received. So we'll move on to the next item, the approval of superintendent consent items.
Tonight under personnel, we have 7 resignations, 21 initial appointments, 3 change in status. We have an MOU with our teachers union. Right now, their contract has higher stipulations in terms of teacher evaluation standards than the state. This will reduce us to the state minimum of teacher evaluation cycles. One of the reasons we're moving to that is because last year we started working with coaching our teachers. They meet with a coach on a weekly basis, and we want to prioritize the coaching over the evaluation piece. So the evaluations will still happen, but we're juxtaposing that with an increase in coaching and support. We also have business items with vendor contracts for Hamilton County Educational Service Center for additional services, 2 contracts for Corrigan High School prom, and a contract for Waycross. We also have the resolution from transportation to declare students impractical to transport, and a revision fee from the elementary fees that will increase first grade student planners by 15 cents due to the way the cost came in from the vendor. With that, the superintendent recommends the Board of Education approve the consent items as listed.
So moved.
Second.
So I choose the motion in the second.
Discussion.
Okay. All right. So we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? That passes 4.
And Matt, before we move on to the next items, I'd like to pause for a moment so we can introduce some of our new administrators who are here.
Okay.
So I'd like to start with Nadia Hall. Nadia is going to be principal of Northwest High School. Nadia has served in the field of education for over 14 years. She began her educational career for White House Independent School District in 2008, where she taught 9th and 11th grade English and worked as an 8th grade transitional mentor for the district's Genesis program. Ms. Hall spent 5 years teaching and mentoring in White House prior to transitioning to an assistant principal position in 2013. Over the next 6 years, Ms. Hall would serve as an assistant principal for both Tyler and Chapel Hill Independent School Districts, respectively. In 2019, Ms. Hall transitioned to a district coordinator position in Chapel Hill, where she provided administrative leadership and direction over 5 district programs. Ms. Hall's educational career has afforded her the opportunity to plan and collaborate with a variety of educators, administrators, parents, and community leaders to ensure the holistic development of all students by working together to meet the common goals. Ms. Hall's purpose and mission is to positively shape the future one child at a time through the gateway of education. She earned her bachelor's degree from English at the University of Texas at Tyler, her master's in educational leadership from La Tourneau, and her EDS in curriculum and instruction from the University of West Florida. And from Texas to Ohio, we are thrilled that you've come to join our team. Welcome to Northwest. On the subject of Northwest High School, we'll transition to Sarah McMullen. Sarah will be an assistant principal at Northwest High School this fall. Sarah earned her Bachelor's of Science in Secondary Education from the University of Cincinnati in 2005 and got her first teaching position in Northwest High School as an English teacher. She continued her education, earning her Master's in Education from the University of Cincinnati, and she served Northwest High School as a building leader and a teacher and a department head for 12 years before taking the role of a district literacy coach for grades 6 through 12. She's been the district literacy coach for the last 4 school years and has received her administrative certificate from Indiana Wesleyan University, and we welcome her as a new administrator at Northwest High School. And Mr. Whitaker. Ryan Whitaker is actually going to be our assistant principal at Monfort Heights Elementary with Trey Richmond. Ryan has served over 15 years of teaching experience in education, and his love for instilling inspiration and excitement to children in the classroom was sparked during his time working for Northwest Local Schools. He received his first classroom teaching job in 2007 at Resurrection in Price Hill, but he fell in love with Northwest as a long-term sub teacher at Pleasant Run Middle School in 2006. And in 2008, he had the opportunity to return to Pleasant Run as an 8th grade science teacher and has been working faithfully as a PRMS Knight ever since. In 2013, he moved to the role of Dean of Students, where he was fortunate to work with and learn from a team of extraordinary leaders, and he brings a wealth of knowledge and education to Monfort Heights. Ryan received his bachelor's in education in 2006 and a master of education in 2014, both from the UC, and he has recently finished his school administration certificate from Indiana Wesleyan University, and I am excited for Ryan to transition to Monfort Heights from a Knight to a Musketeer. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome to the district, in Northwest Local School District and Northwest High School, Ms. Nadia Hall.
Yes.
And congratulations, Sarah McMullen and Ryan Whitaker. And that brings us to the adoption of fiscal consent items.
Yes, good evening. First, I'd like to ask the board to approve the fiscal consent items for establishing our fiscal 23 change funds for athletics and food service department, as well as our June 30th financial report. Our all funds balance was $66 million, and our general fund unreserved balance, we ended the year with $36 million. This was 2.5% higher than what we had projected on our forecast due to still staffing issues, not being able to hire everybody, and also some purchase order encumbrances that could be closed at year end that we did not spend. Our revenue for the year was $99 million, or 101% of projections, and our expenditures were at $92.8, or at 97% of projections. Our average rate of return for our investments was 1.74%, starting to increase as the feds are increasing interest rates. And our list of monthly bills was our routine monthly bills, as well as we had some psychology services, textbooks, storage units, AP exams, HVAC equipment, and some auxiliary and grant fund payments. So with that, I'd like to ask the board to approve the fiscal consent items as listed.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and second. Any discussion? That passes 4-0. Brings us to our next item, return of fiscal year 22 advances.
Yes, so last board meeting to close the year, we had to advance funds for our federal grants, waiting on drawdowns, and so this is to advance the funds back as we start the new fiscal year. So I ask the board to approve advancing our funds back to the general fund as listed.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Motion passes 4-0.
Next, we have, at the last board meeting, we approved our final appropriations for fiscal year 22. That was certified with the Hamilton County Budget Commission, which then has approved our minute certificate, the final minute certificate for fiscal year 22. So the board just needs to accept the final minute certificate at $204 million, as approved by the Hamilton County Budget Commission.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and second. Is there any discussion? Motion passes 4-0.
And next, we have our official certificate for fiscal year 23. So now that we have our close our books for fiscal '22 and have our carryover balances, as well as our estimated resources. We certify that to the Hamilton County Budget Commission, and this is to accept the official certificate as approved by the Hamilton County Budget Commission for fiscal year '23 at $199 million.
So moved.
Second.
Then motion and second.
I got a question. Matt.
Oh, yes.
Daryl, with this levy and when this thing passes in November, can you kind of give everybody what the money's going towards, what schools be built, what updated, or do you want to do that in your superintendent's comments?
Yeah, we can do it when we get to the bond
Okay,
item.
okay.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, next we have the public change in fiscal agent and transfer of materials and equipment. The House Bill 110, which was the biennial budget, allowed for our non-public schools to actually become their own fiscal agent. So we have 3 schools that took that on, and St. Ives, Beautiful Savior, and St. Joseph's Villa are now their own fiscal agent, so that this allows us to then transfer the materials and equipment that they have purchased over the years to them so that they can maintain that themselves. So with that, I ask the board to approve the resolution for adopt public change in fiscal agent and the transfer of materials and equipment.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and second. Is there any discussion?
Is there any financial gain or loss with having them do it on their own, or is it just?
4% admin fee that we give for our auxiliary schools that we would not receive for those 3 particular ones in there.
That motion passes 4-0.
And then next we have the resolution to proceed with the bond issue. This is the last step in the Master Facilities Phase 2 process that we have been doing for the past year. Last summer, we started the process with updating our 2014 Master Facility Plan. We met with our community. We presented the proposal recommendation to the board in November of a new Coleraine Elementary preschool, renovations to Monfort Heights Elementary, and 2 new middle schools. In May, the board approved to participate in the state ELP program, which allows us to earn credits towards the CFAP or state-funded project in the future, which would be our Phase 3. And so this resolution would put a bond issue on the ballot of $175 million in November.
Which would be how many mils?
4.98 mils, and our Monfort Heights bonds are rolling off the tax duplicate in December, and those are 1.12. So a feel of 3.86.
3.86 mils.
Feel.
And that's for it to do what you just said there. Say that again. What?
Pre-K 5 for Coleraine Elementary, renovation to Monfort Heights Elementary, and 2 new middle schools.
At Pleasant Run and Coleraine.
Got some questions, but we'll wait till we get to the question part, I guess, after we first make the motion to second it. So I'll make the motion.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second, so time for discussion.
Go first here. Rich, I appreciate all you've done for the district and helping. Everything kind of comes back to me to Coleraine Elementary and Middle. And I've said this since I've been on the board. I was first on the board in 2001, so we're going back 21 years, that I thought Colerain Middle and Colerain Elementary were spooky. I mean, they're just creepy places, and it's not fair that students get to go to Taylor or even Monfort Heights or the new Pleasant Run or Struble, and then a certain percentage of our district goes to schools that are almost 100 years old, one of which has fallen down. Yep, I mean, it's a bad time, inflation, all the stuff that's been going on with COVID. But who says a year from now or 2 years from now would even be worse? Amy, I'd like to ask you if you can give us in a summary what advantages there would be, why running it now is a better time than waiting. Maybe address the credit program a little bit, that the state helps pay for some of this. Whatever you can do in a nutshell, I'd appreciate.
So the ELP program allows us to locally fund our building project, but to also earn state credits towards a state-funded project in the future. We did this with in 2015 with the 3 new elementaries, and we locked in our 22% state share. So as valuation increases, the school district becomes wealthier and our state share would be reduced. And we have increased valuation since 2015. So by locking that in 2015 was actually a benefit for the community and getting the most that we could from the state. We earned $17 million in credits in our 2015 project, and this project would allow us to continue to earn credits for a phase 3 project in the future.
What's the maximum credits we can earn? Is there a maximum?
Yeah, it's 22% of what we spend that's allowable through the manual.
So in other words, the state would be paying 22% of the cost of the buildings.
Mm-hmm.
That's a nice discount. And interest rates, I mean, nobody can predict that, but I mean, they're not going down.
At the moment, the feds are increasing interest rates. Right now, our interest rates are less than they were in 2015 when we sold the bonds. I don't know what they would be when we would go to sell the bonds on the market, but they're continuing to go up and projecting to continue to go up. So at this point, it could be the lowest we'll have for a while.
And Chris, to your point about Cornell and Corey Middle, currently our district has over $40 million in immediate maintenance needs that we need to perform. That's without any work being done at Cornell and Corey Middle. And without this project, that work will need to be done at some point. And if we have to do some of that work now before this passes and we rebuild the buildings, that would be work that the community would be paying for twice. And it's more cost effective for us to replace it now before things are going wrong and we have to put money into it, and then they get replaced and a community has to pay for some of those things twice versus now where you're going to pay them for 22% off.
And the state would not reimburse us if we've already invested into doing it.
No. Yeah, $40 million is a lot of repairs, and I know the schools, you know how hard kids are on buildings. One final question for me before I refer to my colleagues here. The White Oak Middle School site, do we have any idea which schools, I mean, would it be we would keep Colerain Middle and Pleasant Run Middle, or would we make it White Oak and Pleasant Run? Any idea on which 2 middle schools we would use them?
The sites will depend, and Chris can probably talk more about that, but the sites would depend on the footprint of the buildings and what site they would fit on. We obviously have the White Oak site, the Colerain Middle School site, but the Colerain Middle, Colerain L site, we have slated for that a new Colerain Elementary and preschool. So that site with a larger elementary school, a preschool, and a larger middle school probably won't support all of that. And then we also have our Pleasant Run Elementary and Middle School site, and we still own the property down to Hamilton Avenue where the old PRE was. So once we start designing the buildings, then we'll get the footprint and design where in the property we have it would best fit.
Chris, you answered all my questions.
Any other discussion?
I don't think so.
I'll call for a vote. Resolution passes 4-0.
Thank you.
brings us to our next item for information.
So we have 2 items on for information tonight. We have a series of handbooks from our human resources offices. It's our certificated handbook, our classified handbook, our transportation handbook, and our administrative handbook. And then we also have multiple board policies that are being updated with compliance officer changes, and 1 board policy that updates our animals on premises policy. So those are all in there for information tonight. If you have questions, let me know, and those will be on for approval at the next meeting.
That brings us to our next item, superintendent's update.
So I just want to congratulate all the athletes that were here. It's a tremendous parade of talent, both athletically and academically, that we saw tonight. I want to welcome our 3 new administrators to the district. I'm excited about the future of the buildings with their leadership, and want to highlight that on August 10th at Northgate Mall from 9 to 12, we have our annual health fair. And so we invite our community and families to attend that. There will be free haircuts for kids, health and dental screenings, and a variety of prizes. We are also accepting donations at the health fair this year for school supplies that will be distributed to our schools and then given to the students on site at school. And there will also be a variety of activities from different organizations there to engage the kids and the families around health, wellness, and school readiness. So we're excited that once again we're hosting the health fair, and it'll be at Northgate Mall. So just need everybody to put that on their calendar and show up.
Just like to piggyback onto that, appreciate Northgate Mall and their partnership for allowing us to continue to do this year after year. Brings us to board members' comments. Chris.
Okay, thank you, Matt. Matt, you did a very good job running your first meeting here tonight. It's hard to step in there when you've never done it before, so good job.
Appreciate it.
With Mr. Gilbert driving to Montana, which is kind of a long drive. I just wanted to welcome the new administrators. You guys, we really look forward to having you work here with us in the district. And you picked a good district. It's not in the bottom 11%. I don't know where we get those numbers from. Anyway, we do have work to do, but it's a good place.
Jim?
Yeah, as well, I want to congratulate Nadia, Sarah, and Brian on their new jobs. Good luck. And then I just want to congratulate all the athletes, the wrestlers, the bowlers, and then especially Malik Snow. That is a huge thing to be a state champion and to set the state record at the same time. And he did qualify for the 300 hurdles at the state too. So he did run that too. And then, I don't know, I think there's like 30 minutes, 35 minutes in between those 2 events. So, but props to him. That's a big, huge deal. And that's all I have.
Nicole?
Same thing. Congratulations to all the student athletes. Tremendous to see how many of them, we've read their names throughout the year, so it was nice to put a face with them. And congratulations, Sarah, Ryan, and Nadia. Welcome to the district. I look forward to working with you. And thank you, Amy and Daryl, for all the information with the upcoming levy and all the questions and that. So thank you too, Chris.
And Matt, just jumping in, thank you to the board for being so engaged and informed and asking good questions. We have a lot of exciting things happening, and I think with your support, we have a bright future ahead, and I'm looking forward to getting the information out for everyone else to understand.
Yeah, I'd just also like to, as everybody else did, congratulate the student athletes and thank them for coming out this evening, and their family and friends that came out, filled the house here this evening. And congratulations to Nadia Hall, Sarah McMullen, Ryan Whitaker, and thank you. And that's all I have. Next, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
And we are adjourned.